$100 by having my own.
Yeah, is the thing. Their graphics cards are one of the most expensive part about a computer from what I've heard from everyone.
Yeah,
and they're also really hard to get right now. Still,
yeah, they're super hard to get right now because of supply chain.
Yeah,
and then the price has been blown up because of cryptocurrency.
Yeah, because you got to use one of those to mine shit.
Yeah, which made me start thinking about cryptid currency. And if we should have our own cryptocurrency.
That's cryptid
currency. And a Mothman NFT situation.
Oh, God.
Like, should we just go full grifter at this point?
No. Like, I don't even have the patience to figure out how exactly that thing works. And also, every time that any of my favorite properties go into NFTs, it's all the time met with such distaste.
Crypt TV started releasing. Have you ever watched any of their stuff?
Yeah, I love Crypt TV stuff.
Yeah, they started doing NFTs.
Oh, I know.
And I was like, oh my, no.
So did Valiant Comics. Valiant Comics has gotten into NFTs. On their Twitter page, it said, we have partnered with the Metaverse to release NFTs. And I'm like, Valiant, no.
It's not going to be a thing.
No, it's not.
It will be a thing that people who are already into the concept of it will get into.
Yeah, if you were into the concept of it, you're right at home. If you're not on board now, you're not on board at all.
So that's our hot metaverse take.
That's our hot metaverse take.
And now we're going to do an actually kind of reoccurring segment.
Yeah, an accidental reoccurring segment, really.
But this is going to be
the backyard beer.
Beer in our backyard.
Where
we talk about beer for a second because I like to drink while I'm recording.
Yeah, and I just like beer, and I also like to drink while we're recording.
So
This
is Eggenberg, which is a brewery in Austria. Their Sammy Klaus Classic used to be the world's strongest beer.
Oh, it is at 14%.
It is 14%. It is an Austrian triple bock.
I mean, it smells very strong.
It's syrupy.
Yeah. Oh,
it smells like syrup.
Yeah, it does. I'm getting that hint. Okay. Ooh,
that's
oh wow, that is straight syrup.
Yeah, that's one of those ones where I'm like, it's not horrible.
No,
but I would never drink more than like this little 8 ounce.
That and I even drink less than you, and that is enough for me.
Yeah. I also have drunk it before, so I was prepared.
Oh, okay. I have never had anything like that before, and yeah, it's syrup.
Yeah, the stronger the beer, the sweeter it's going to be, and that's why like I was at a bar, and Lex, my girlfriend, got me a sherry cask aged barley wine. And I was like, I want to try that.
It sounds not different. Yeah.
Yeah. And usually, like, a lot of the bars I go to, if you get a barley wine, you're getting just, like, an 8 to 10 ounce glass. It's not going to be very big. Because they're strong beers.
Okay, yeah.
And this one ended up being, like, 12 or 14 ounces, which is a lot.
That's huge.
Especially for something sweet. Like, yeah, because barley wines usually end up being in this, like, anywhere, like, 8 to 15%. Damn. And it's just it's like drinking syrup sometimes.
Yeah, that I if I had drank if you had handed me like snow cone syrup, same consistency.
Yeah, it really is. It's super
syrup.
thick.
Yeah.
So the same class. It does have like it's got like a slight.
I'll do one more sip. To be a team player.
So it's got malt, which I like, but
it's worse.
It's it's like the one time I've brewed beer, it came the package came with malt syrup, and that's what this tastes like. It tastes just like drinking the malt syrup.
Oh yeah, no, that's worse the second time.
Yeah, it's sorry, Eggenberg. It's as far as like super strong beers go, it's a good super strong beer.
Yeah,
just not what I like to drink.
No, definitely not what I like to drink. I would not, if I saw this, if I saw the can at a bar, I'd be like, that looks weird, but I also don't want it. Yeah. Like, but whoo boy.
Yeah, but it was also on sale. It was like...
That's fair.
It was like $11 when it normally would be like 15 to 20.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, it's worth trying. So.
Yeah.
But I'm also... I had this weird bucket list moment of gnosis like a couple years ago, where I was like, I want to try one of every beer style.
That's what you mentioned the last episode, yeah.
So this has marked off my Austrian triple bock.
There you go.
On my checklist. So,
well, I'm glad we were both here to help you knock that off. But you can have the rest.
I probably will not be finishing that. I've got 2 more cans in there, and they are going to end up at a party. And then I will leave them at said party.
I have done that before.
That's the best part about going to a party and you have like beer. It's like, oh yeah, everyone BYOB.
BYOB.
Yeah, and I'm gonna LMYOB.
Leave my beer. Leave my own beer.
But anyways, welcome to another podcast episode of
Our Haunted Backyard.
The podcast where we discuss country road cryptids, small town spooky, local legends, and there was some that country. There was some
you said country road cryptids.
Yeah, I've got to write that down and like have it like embroidered on something and then hang it like right above your head.
Like right above the head. Yeah, right above my head.
I've got one other. I do have an embroidery in here, but it just says penises. So I'll have to have somebody make me a little thing so I know exactly what our tagline is.
Yeah, but I love the tagline, and hi to everybody who's listening, and to everybody and all the new listeners.
Yeah, so we have now started releasing episodes.
Yes,
and we have listeners, which is cool. We have listeners in other countries.
It's crazy. That blew my mind when you showed me the analytics of that.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and like shout out Matt at Ghost Stories for the End of the World because I think he's a major part of that.
Oh yeah,
fantastic podcast. If you're into the spooky and political, give it a listen. Ghost Stories for the End of the World. I learned a lot about Disney lately.
Oh man,
about how Disney basically hired not the CIA itself, but front companies for the CIA to make Disney World in Florida.
Well, oh wow, I'll have to listen to that.
Because and I didn't know this, Disney World was not as much, and I don't think so anymore. They were basically like the Vatican. It was its own little nation state inside of America.
It used to be, I do remember that.
And that was one of the reasons they hired people from the CIA to help them.
That's fucking crazy. I do know about one person that we're friends on TikTok. Their name on TikTok is Punksley, and I just wanted to say hi. Thanks for listening, Punksley. You're great.
But yeah, so we're releasing episodes, and we also have our first email.
Yes, we do.
Our first emailed story.
Yes, we do. Yes, I was going to bring that up too, but yes.
We put out a request on social media saying, if you got a spooky story, let us know. We'll read it on the podcast and talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it's cool.
And he sent 2 stories.
Yeah.
From our friend that we know from the Renaissance Festival, Rob Whiskey. Great guy. Love him. He plays one of our guards. And Rob has sent us 2 stories. And I'll just read them verbatim from the email. Hi guys, this story, actually 2 stories, isn't my own experience, but my sister's. Kind of short, but still spoopy. Story number 1. My sister had a friend back in high school that lived in an old farmhouse out in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky. One night, my sister, this friend, and a couple other friends in a group were having a sleepover and had the brilliant idea to play around with a Ouija board. Not good. Don't ever do that. Well, I don't remember what they asked the spirits, but apparently they pissed something off because the little triangle lens thingy, I think that's called a planchette.
Yeah, I was about to say like that. I think that's a planchette.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. I think it's called a planchette thingy that you put your hands on. And he even says in parentheses, I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
Flung itself off of the board into the wall and slid down the wall.
So I like. When the slid down the wall, that's something I want clarification on, because when you say that, it sounds like it stuck to the wall.
That's what I pictured
and then just
too.
Slowly like slid down it, or like did it like hit the wall and then fall?
Yeah, but when sliding down again, I pictured the exact same thing you were saying. It hit the wall, stuck for like a couple seconds, and then just.
So maybe the ghost was trying to do that skeet skeet song.
From the window to the wall.
I'm gonna hunt your halls.
And the second story, so that's where that story ends. Hopefully they either burned it or they did the closing ritual, which is you always have to say goodbye, and then you burn it. That's what you're supposed to do.
Okay, tinfoil hat time.
Yeah.
The Ouija board people, who I think are the Parker brothers.
The Parker brothers did acquire the rights to produce Ouija boards.
They probably were like, we should tell everybody they need to burn the Ouija board.
Yeah.
After each time they use the Ouija board, because then they have to buy more Ouija boards.
Oh man, probably. But also do it, because even if it is a capitalist plot, it's better safe than sorry. The second story came from the same house. Same group of friends, so already, this group of friends, no, I don't know them at all. I only know Rob, so Rob's sister. Not judging you and your friend choices, but you don't need to stop maybe not do these things. Maybe at the same sleepover, ? Not sure. But one of them woke up in the middle of the night and looked out the window to see someone walking through the field next to the house. They woke the others, and apparently all of them saw the same thing. Lit up clearly by the full moon. A man dressed in a red coat. Yes, and then in parentheses, yes, as in the red coats of the American Revolution, marching across the field, rifle in hand. Anyway, I hope this is spooky enough for the podcast. Look forward to future episodes. Take care.
So, my first thought was like, what if it was just some lost reenactor?
Late at night. Guys,
like,
I'm here for the war.
We were doing a reenactment. I'm ready for the bayonet charge.
Oh, man. And now I got a Whiskey, if you're listening, which I hope you are, thank you. It was that house, the history of that, do you know if it was on a revolutionary battlefield? Is it near a battlefield of the Revolutionary War?
Yeah, that's the kind of information I want. Is like, what was going on? I do know Kentucky didn't see a lot of British soldiers coming over. A lot of what happened in Kentucky was they would hire Native Americans to fight the colonists. But I'm also certain, well, semi-certain, that there were probably British troops in Kentucky at various points throughout the time.
Oh, most definitely.
But so that's kind of, I want a little more history. I'm like, okay, because I said back in like episode 0, Kentucky's one of the like.
It's a spooky state.
It's a spooky state.
It's a scary state. Yeah.
There's a lot of weird stuff going on there. I am 100% believe there's something out there walking around in the field.
Oh, I would totally be down for believing that. Yeah.
And so I just want like a little more background on the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same. The background on the house and on the area that the house is in. Yeah.
But yeah, so, Rob, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And like we said to everyone else, if you've got a spooky story, feel free to share it, and we will read it on air.
Yes.
Maybe if we start getting enough, we might just start doing like listener-submitted story episodes. Yes. So, Eric.
Yes, Ian.
Today,
yes,
we are covering the Minerva monster.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
So, this is the Minerva, as in Roman goddess of wisdom.
Oh, yeah. I did not know that.
Not named after the Roman goddess of wisdom. Was actually named for the first child born in the town.
Oh, okay. Minerva, Ohio.
Minerva,
specifically.
Ohio.
Yeah.
So, it is a village of barely 3,500 people, like the most recent census.
Really?
Was not even 3,500.
That's not a lot of people at all.
No, that's really small.
Yeah.
And it sits on the banks of the Sandy Creek, on the borders of Carroll, Columbiana. Yeah, Columbiana
River?
County.
Columbiana
and Stark County.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Northeastern Ohio.
Yeah.
It's about 70 miles south of Cleveland, 70 miles west of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So it's kind of a very central location for these major industrial hubs.
Yeah, okay. I got a picture of it.
It was founded in 1818 when John Whitaker purchased 125 acres of land from Isaac Craig, and the village was named after Whitaker's niece and the first child born in the town, Minerva Ann Taylor.
Nice.
As a town, it has gone through several different big economic phases, largely driven by its location.
Yeah.
So it was originally founded to take advantage of its space on the Sandy Creek, and it used the river power to had a log mill and a grist mill.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was so it was making logs that were largely being sent up to Cleveland and flour that was sold.
Yeah. Flour. Yeah.
Later on, it became a major stopping point on the Sandy and Beaver Canal. Yeah, so it was a canal town, and then later on, when the canal was replaced by railroads, it became a central hub on the Pennsylvania Railroad.
Oh.
Once again, doing a lot of shipping of coal and that kind of stuff between Cleveland, Pittsburgh. And currently, it is also mostly, there's a lot of fracking and strip mining in the community. And that's kind of like where I told Eric when I was watching the documentary, I was like, I'm going to get weird on this episode. So I hope you're all ready to hear.
He's been hyping up how weird he's going to get, and I'm excited.
Like the things that go on in Ian's brain that I semi-sincerely believe. There's a part of me that's like, always like, maybe I'm just making things up in my brain. But it's one of these things where when you start scratching past the surface levels of the paranormal and cryptozoology and those kind of things.
Yeah.
This weird stuff starts coming out because you start seeing patterns.
Yes.
And some of these patterns, like one of the major ones, is the concept of the liminal space, which is a place between places. It's a concept that came out of 19th century anthropology that was originally describing specific rites of initiation.
Yeah.
And that you were in a liminal position when you began the rite, but you hadn't finished it.
Okay.
That was kind of like you were in this weird space. And that's ended up getting broadened out to all different kinds of concepts, including like physical geographic space. So there are like liminal places like doorways, liminal places.
Oh, yes. Yep.
And you start learning like a lot of ghosts show up in doorways.
They do.
A lot of bathrooms. Bathrooms are considered liminal places for some reason.
That makes sense.
And like a lot of haunted bathrooms.
A lot of haunted bathrooms.
Country roads, once again, like going from point A to point B.
Haunted bridges?
Yeah, like all of these places tend to have a lot of paranormal activity around them.
It's true.
Which then you start getting into slightly more occult stuff. And the fact that you will use thresholds, crossroads, all feature very heavily in various types of rites and rituals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, you're right. I've noticed that a lot too.
And I even noticed, because Loveland was in my brain, the layout of... They talk about in the documentary the layout of the town and how the town kind of curves around the river and canal, and the road that the Frogman was seen on has a very similar curve to it. Yeah, because it's following the Miami River.
Yeah, and they even say that rivers can also have like energy. They can be like barriers, and they can like rivers can be barriers. Yeah. Rivers can like have an energy flow to them as well.
But yeah, so this town is kind of it is in this liminal physical space, and it's always kind of caught in this liminal economic space where it's always kind of at the whims of whatever the economic trend currently is.
Okay.
And then the fact that it's now currently being a lot of the area around it, like I said, fracking and strip mines, and those are other places that you see a lot of cryptid and paranormal stuff happen. Is places that are like mines, like the Hellier case. Hellier, Kentucky is like the original case from that show. Took place at a house that had an old mine on its land.
It's true, yeah.
Kelly Hopkinsville attached to actually the same cave system that these mines in Hellier are attached to. The Mammoth, I think they're the Mammoth Caves. Like there's these huge caves under Kentucky.
Yeah, I think that's the Mammoth Caves, but I can't be certain.
And so there's the Kelly Hopkinsville Goblin case.
Yeah,
and kind of southwest Kentucky. And then Hellier, which is more northeast.
Yeah.
But they're both very similar cases involving mines and caves. And so that's the kind of stuff that gets my brain going like, what's going on here with these monsters and strip mining?
Yeah.
And that's going to be why I call the subtitle of this episode is Ian Thinks Bigfoot's a Ghost.
You were also not alone in that kind of thinking.
Yeah, no, it's and that's why I said like once you start kind of scratching the level, I think like the good entry level text is the Mothman Prophecies.
Yeah,
by Jonathan, I think it's Jonathan Keel, and he kind of is one of the first people who starts widely spreading that concept of all of these different phenomena that we experience throughout the centuries are not unrelated. And that they could be, instead of like extraterrestrials, they could be, I think the term he uses is ultra-terrestrials.
Yeah, I've heard that term a lot.
Exist in this world, but just in a different plane of existence.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
It's like in the concept of the Fey realm and old mythology like that. The entrance of the Fey realm and falling into the Fey realm and being captured in the Fey realm.
So another thing that kind of ends up tying into this that I wasn't going to go into, but when you talked about the Fey realm, made me think about. So if you look back at folklore in Scotland and Ireland, and they have all of these Fey encounters.
Yeah.
And they live, it's usually, especially like up in the Highlands of Scotland, there's all these standing stones, weird Fey encounters that when you start reading them, read very similar to alien encounters.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Scotch-Irish moved to America into Appalachia. And this is the place, these are the places where we end up getting a lot of these weird cases. The same, like the people who in Europe were having these weird encounters moved to the place in America where the weird encounters happen.
Yeah.
And then it gets even more wild when you consider that the Appalachian Mountains were part of a Pangean mountain range that is now located mostly in the continental U.S., but in Scotland, in Ireland, in northwestern Africa.
Huh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So Bigfoot's an alien ghost.
Bigfoot's an alien ghost.
So there's a lot. There's actually when it comes to the Minerva monster, getting back on track, there's a lot to talk about, and it's one of those ones where I'm starting to realize like we've had multiple stories now where I'm like, we need to do another episode on this someday.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more history to the sightings, both before the ones that we're going to talk about today and current. Like there are still sightings to this day that are occurring.
Yes.
But for the most part, I'm going to focus on the major story that when people are talking about the Minerva monster, they were talking about this specific, basically it's a month of encounters. It's the one that the Small Town Monster documentary focuses on. And it is, I guess, referred to generally as the Minerva Monster Flap. I got that specifically off of the Bigfoot Field Research Organization website, which is my other major source. So the Flap, we're talking summer, early fall 1978.
Okay.
The primary witnesses are the Caton family. There's the mother, Evelyn Caton, the father, Herbert, I think.
Herbert Caton.
Yeah, Herbert Caton. Some other resources I read listed it as Howe, but Howe shows up in the documentary and is a son. So maybe Howe was like Herbert's nickname, or maybe these other sources got it wrong.
Maybe
that's why when I realized I could get like the original research, like the original report taken from this family, which was taken by Ron Schaffner for the Bigfoot Field Research Organization. Basically, like within like that same time period, he was down there collecting information. Him and a couple other researchers were down there collecting information, and he's like said this is probably one of the weirdest cases in like the history of like Bigfoot sightings in general, but also the ones that he specifically worked on.
I knew it was I knew it. This one was a very special case, like because Ohio, we know, like for those of you who don't know, but Ohio knows we got this guy called the Grassman, and I'm not saying he was like he's like our only big footy thing, but like. This I know from what I watched in the documentary and from what I've just like came upon looking at this case and looking at this the Minerva monster. It is the more just what actually went down.
Yeah,
what is actually going on?
It's not just like a one and done sighting. It's a series of interactions.
Yeah,
that are get increasingly bizarre.
Yeah,
a little violent.
Yeah.
But it didn't start out violent. It started out very peaceful and like friendly.
Yeah.
And then there ends up being things that happen that like I remember from other Bigfoot cases. So it's like this consistency of action across geography and time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is a super bizarre case. But yeah, so we've got Evelyn Caton, Herbert, the son Howe, the daughter Mary Ackerman, and then there are other friends and family who are eyewitnesses to the events.
Okay.
There's also a major character is a local sheriff deputy, James Shannon, who was one of the first police officers on the scene the night of the first major event.
Okay.
There's also another good resource and character from the story is a reporter for the Akron Beacon Journal, Barbara Galloway, though back then she was Barbara Mudrack, which makes me laugh a little bit because mudrakers was a term for journalists at one point in time. So when I was
Oh!
watching the documentary with Mary, and I saw her maiden name, and it made me laugh really hard. Mary's like looking at me. I was like,
She's like, why are you making fun of this woman's last name?
Muckrakers. It's fun. It's fun. And then, of course, Rob Schaffner. So this house, once again, going back to the concept of liminal spaces, the house is located on Highway 30, which is one of the first national highways stretching from New York City all the way to San Francisco.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And so this house is like right off of Highway 30.
Yeah.
In a heavily forested area. So it's this major country highway.
Yeah.
But it ends up getting enclosed in this forest, this little section of it. And this is also an area where they actually had, the Catons have a former strip mine on their land.
Okay. Former strip mine in the woods in 1978. I'm just painting the picture in my head.
Yeah, and so like, yeah, you get this kind of, this sense of space and geography. And so the sightings started, like, they started having these experiences in the woods. The kids and the family in general there's something in the woods around the house. There were like rocks being thrown, but not in an aggressive manner. Hal, the son, actually thought it was like a hermit who lived out in the woods, which is just like really funny to me. They're like, yeah, it's
just hermit
man.
It's just a hermit throwing rocks at us.
Yeah, he's just old dude throwing rocks at us. It's cool.
It's whatever.
I'm actually more worried about that guy.
Yeah.
Which I just
get out of my house.
Get out. This is our forest. No, it's my house.
It's my house.
But yeah, they would like throw rocks back and forth at each other as like a game.
I've heard that a lot in big, and that seems to be another like pattern behavior that these creatures are supposed to have.
Yeah, because I started thinking when I read that, I started wondering if I had heard the story before, because I actually hadn't heard of the Minerva monster before this, and I was like, was it? I'm like, I think I heard this, but then I can't remember the case's name. But there's another case that was actually much more violent than this one.
Oh.
And it was like, it was like this family in a cabin on vacation, and they end up like getting under siege from Bigfoot. And it was like throwing big rocks at the house.
That sounds like, I think that sounds like a movie.
But this one was just kind of like a friendly, like, yeah, we're going to throw rocks.
Yeah.
And Hal talked about they would put marks, they would like take like a permanent marker and put an X on the rock, throw it, and then the same rock would come back.
Oh, cool. Whoa.
And then apparently one of their family friends said to it, like, if you're so smart, hit me in the face. And it did. Which then, once again, if it was a hermit, it's very funny to me. This guy's just like, stop throwing rocks at me.
If you're so smart, hit me in the face.
Okay. I'm just making moonshine. Leave me alone.
I'm just making my moonshine.
And then one day, and this I'm wondering, like, if I had kind of one critique of the Small Town Monsters documentary, it was that the timeline, they didn't establish timeline very well. And that's why I didn't even want to go into the sightings that might have happened like decades before this, because there were some people in the documentary where I'm like, you were 10 in 1978. You were probably 10 in 1958.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to get into all those sightings. Mm-hmm. So I'm also wondering if this was what caused things to start getting a little darker. But one day, Hal and his brothers decided to chase the thing, which I think they still thought was a hermit at this point in time.
They probably still thought it was just some guy.
And then they jumped on it.
What?
They, like, tackled this, thinking that there's, like, this hermit in the woods. We're like, we're going to tackle the hermit who's throwing rocks at us. And then it bit one of the brothers.
Oh, my God. What?
And
why would you, even if it was a hermit guy?
Yeah, like, why are you tackling children? If I have any, like, 10-year-olds listen to this episode, don't tackle people in the forest.
Don't tackle random
just
forest
life
people.
Advice from Uncle Ian.
Yeah, don't tackle random people in the forest. Wow. I was a pretty scaredy cat of a child. Even now, as a somewhat grown adult, I'm not tackling anything I see in the woods.
Yeah, especially, like, I'm not going to tackle unless, like, I'm in a football game for some weird reason.
Yeah, which would be weird because neither of us are sports people.
Yeah. So, and even then, I would be like, I don't know if I'm gonna. I'll be over here.
Yeah.
Like watching I'll just encourage you all. I should just be a cheerleader.
Yeah, at this point.
Yeah, but yeah, especially out in the forest, don't tackle things.
Yeah, just don't tackle things.
Yeah.
Wow, that's bold. I mean, go them, but that's bold.
Especially for like children.
Yeah, especially for children. Damn.
And so this is starting to happen like beginning of August.
Okay, yeah.
Evelyn's reported that she thinks that it might been caused by Herbert leaving trash out for raccoons. She's like, maybe it came out and it started eating my garbage.
I give them credit for trying to, trying to connect things to it. Like, oh, it's a hermit. We'll throw rocks back at it. We'll make sure that these are the same rocks. It might have gotten close to the house because there was free food. Like, they're trying to connect real things that could happen.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I love about this case is because they are consistently logical.
Yeah.
Like, this is, and it's one of those things where the family itself was very nervous about talking about this situation to anybody else because they didn't want to be perceived as hicks.
Yeah,
or anything
right,
like that, which
yeah.
I understood their impulse, but I'm also like, yeah, these are the people who are generally seeing these things are what might be derogatively called hicks. Mm-hmm. They're just backcountry people, but at the same time, those are the people I'm going to trust when it comes to seeing weird things in the forest because they know what a bear looks like.
They know what a bear, they know what a raccoon looks like. They know what a cougar looks like.
And this was something Mary and I were talking about while we were watching the documentary, is like, because a lot of people are like, oh, it's just drunk hicks. I'm like, well, first off, yeah, they're country people. They know what animals look like.
Right.
In the day, at night, I trust their judgment.
I would too. 100%.
And as far as drinking goes, I don't know how much you have to drink to start hallucinating that a bear is a big hairy person.
You're going to pass out
Yeah.
long before you start hallucinating.
And even then, like, it might be like, yeah, I'm exaggerating the size of this bear. Like, maybe I saw, like, a little tiny black bear.
Yeah.
And then I turned it into this giant Kodiak.
Right.
But it's still a bear.
You still know what a bear is and know what a sound a bear makes.
Yeah.
Like, it's not your you've lived, the people who unfortunately get, like, derogatized this way, like, have had that derogatory tourism, the whole Hicks thing, people who have lived out there all their lives. That house sometimes is a family house where, like, their grandparents lived in there and they visited them and now they live in this house. Like, that's a family house. That's a family land. So they're going to know what's around that area because they lived there for so long.
Yeah.
Like, if they've seen something out of the ordinary, it's 9 times out of 10 going to be out of the ordinary.
Yeah. Even if it is just a weird bear.
Yeah.
Like, they'll be like, yeah, that bear doesn't belong here. Like, why do we have a Kodiak bear in northeastern Ohio? That doesn't belong here.
That's not
but
supposed
they know
to be here.
It's a bear.
Yeah, but they know it's a bear.
And then there's also a difference between, like, seeing something at night in the woods, lots of, like, trees, so you can't really see anything, and you see something big moving in the forest.
Yeah.
As this story progresses, they were getting clear sightings of this creature. So shortly after the brothers jumped on this thing, sad, one of their dogs died.
Oh,
it was found still attached to its leash outside.
Oh, man.
Its neck was broken.
Oh,
now, I almost didn't include this because it was sad, but I also think it's an I think it is an important part of the story because it is weird how it goes from these semi-friendly interactions to being slightly more hostile.
Yeah, like from just tossing rocks back and forth and then all of a sudden killing the family dog.
Yeah. And there were, like, no bite marks. There was nothing, like, obvious about it outside of, like, it was still attached to the chain. So they're like, the police said either something broke its neck or it did this to itself out of fright.
Oh my god. That second one is arguably the worst possible way.
Yeah, like that's
like,
yeah.
Huh.
And they had another dog who was okay physically, but emotionally was, like, very upset for a long time afterwards.
So was it with the other dog in the forest?
That I didn't have have as much clear, like, yeah, there wasn't as much information about that.
Okay, that's fair.
So this all leads up to the first major event of August 21st, 1978. They sent out a call to the sheriff's department, and Deputy James Shannon came to investigate. And the family was in a state of panic. And Shannon, who's interviewed in Small Town Monsters, said they saw a large, hairy object. And I was just like, yeah.
A large, hairy object.
But it was a series of events throughout the night.
Yeah.
So that it was the core family, some of the extended family, like the Ackermans, and then some of their friends that lived in the area. And they hear a noise out by their chicken coop. Then they see 2 pairs of yellow eyes.
Ooh.
Scott Peterson, friend of the family, saw 2 cougar-type felines, which is another part of the weirdness.
Yeah. There's that... Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, because it is usually when they saw the other creatures, the rest of the family saw a large bipedal hairy thing.
Yeah.
And again, like I was talking about, there's so much more to the story that we could be getting into. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these other stories that have happened throughout the years are one big thing and 2 smaller things.
That's interesting. Because, like, there's that whole... The other cryptid that, like, gets kind of tossed at the wayside, but is still prevalent in a lot of encounters, is, like... It's not like random sounds like the wrong word, but it's these sightings of big cats.
Yeah,
that shouldn't be in America.
And especially like Ohio, we don't have cougars.
No, we don't. We don't have any of that.
I think we used to. I think, but
right
now
our big time ago.
Yeah, our big cat is the bobcat.
That's as big as it gets.
Yeah, they're cuddly looking.
Yeah,
I want to kiss its nose.
Me too.
I'm gonna die that way. I'm certain.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's much smaller than a cougar.
Yeah, but you hear these, even in England, you have these reports of just these big cats.
Yeah.
Like, they don't really ever say what they actually are, but they're like, it looked like a big panther. It looked like a big tiger. Like, it's all these reports of just these odd big cat.
And there are other stories of beings. For me, the big one is Mothman, which there's also a lot of interesting other things about the Mothman. All these other stories that were happening at the same time.
Yes.
That are linked to the Mothman phenomena.
Mm-hmm.
And so it would all, these weird sightings of animals that don't belong here, weird people, the whole Men in Black phenomenon. I could go off on a whole tangent about weirdness.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I think this is a great case for introducing people to what generally ends up getting called high weirdness.
Yeah. High weirdness, high strange is one of the two. Yeah.
There are the standard events, like the ones that people hear about, and then you start scratching the surface at even just those events, like the Mothman. Like, everybody hears about the Mothman, but then you start learning about the Men in Black that were in town.
Oh man, yeah.
Indrid Cold and all the alien sightings that were occurring. So yeah, and I think this is a good entry level case.
Yeah,
for that kind of
it definitely
thinking.
Is. Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, so they see this large thing, they run for the house, call the sheriff, and then 2 of the family members arm themselves with a .22 pistol and a .22 rifle.
Oh, okay.
And then the creature stood at the kitchen window for 10 minutes.
Wow.
And this is where I was talking about, like, they got a good sight of it, because they had these big floodlights.
Yeah.
So they saw the thing.
Yeah.
Mudrack reported that the witnesses were saying that it reached the eaves of the house. So that's
tall.
That's probably... about as that usually ends up being where the ceiling of the ground floor will be.
Yeah.
So that's talking like over 7 feet, upwards of maybe 9.
Mm-hmm. That's fucking tall.
Though my favorite was Howe in the documentary said it was 6 to 7 feet, much smaller. But then he said it was 400 to 500 pounds. I was that's a round boy.
That's a very round.
That's just that's a big hairy bowling ball. Absolute unit.
Oh my god! Hey guys,
he just kind of like rolls.
Yeah,
that's how it's just a big ball.
Now I want to hug him.
Yeah, it's Sully.
Yeah, it's like Sully.
I just want to give it a good hug.
Monsters Incorporated. Yeah.
They also said that there was a strong ammonia sulfur smell, so maybe I don't want to hug him.
It's like exactly. It's like what I said in the Smasher Pass. Every Bigfoot-ish thing always has a stinky smell to it.
Yeah, because Shannon, who showed up later, said that there was still, like, when he showed up about 15 minutes after the call was made.
Yeah.
5 minutes after the creature left. There was this strong ammonia sulfur smell, which I'm like, you could just say piss.
You can just, yeah.
We're all adults here. Mm-hmm. Just say piss.
Oh, and also... weird, one of the things that comes up in a lot of demon cases or like evil spirits cases is the smell of sulfur.
Yeah.
Or even extra-dimensional beings is this sulfuric smell. That's
alien
another
cases
thing.
too. There usually ends up being ammonia is one of like the very, because it's ammonia specifically is a very sterile smell, and that one shows up a lot with aliens.
Yep.
It's all connected.
It's all fucking connected. This is where the tinfoil hats come on. This is where
like I start falling down this rabbit hole every now and then, and I'm just like, Bigfoot's an alien ghost. Bigfoot, alien ghost.
Yes.
Get it tattooed.
Yes.
They also say that the creature had no visible facial features because of the way its hair. It had like some kind of like hipster mop top situation.
Oh,
going on.
I was picturing that Cousin It.
Yeah,
From Addams Family. I was picturing Cousin It.
They describe it throughout like these different encounters, saying like there is long hair in other places, but there's other places where it's really patchy, so you can see the musculature.
Oh, neat. Okay, so I'm like,
so yeah, it's not just solid fur. It's not like a
solid fur boy. It's not a solid fur bulg.
It is like when your uncle takes his shirt off and there's just way too much hair.
It just takes his shirt off and you all of a sudden he's like, it looks like he's still wearing a sweater.
Why are you? Yeah, like it's like Robin Williams. I'll say Robin Williams instead of your uncle.
Yeah.
Very hairy man.
Rest in peace, but very hairy man.
That was kind of the general description that would once again like other people unrelated to the Keatons having sightings before this one. Same description. Deputy Shannon shows up about 50 minutes later. Strong stench. And he, to this day, is like, I believe they had some kind of encounter. He can be hesitant on whether or not it was Bigfoot.
Right, okay.
But he does believe that they saw something weird.
Yeah, this is the sheriff?
The sheriff's deputy.
Yeah, the sheriff's deputy, and that takes a lot.
Of how spooked they were.
Yeah, and I feel like it takes a lot for someone in that position, in the law enforcement position, because to even stay consistent on there was something weird, because they're going to get made fun of at their precinct for believing that they saw something. That's why a lot of reports from law enforcement don't get reported.
Yeah.
Because they're afraid of being ridiculed. Yeah.
Even like with the frogman, where there is the one officer who saw something.
Yeah.
And then another officer later on, I learned, shot and killed an iguana that had escaped and lost its tail.
Oh my god!
And he's like, I got that frogman.
I got that there frogman.
And I was just like, there's a major difference between a bipedal amphibious humanoid
with a wand
casting some Harry Potter shit at you, versus an iguana.
An iguana.
When people tell you things, you like don't dismiss it straight out of hand, because humans are smarter than we treat them. We can get really dismissive of humans being dumb, but we're smart. We know what we see.
We know what we see. It's the exact same thing of like people are when back in the day when our ancestors would see weird stuff, like in the report on other weirds. It's like our ancestors weren't idiots.
Yeah, no, like, they had to, everything that we have now, they had to figure out.
Yeah, like they're not idiots.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where I'm like, the ancient folk. Yeah, this is a whole other tangent I can go on that'll refrain us. But yeah, it's one of those things where trust that humans are smart.
Yeah,
I think like generally well-meaning.
Yeah,
like
generally, yes.
there are tons of grifters and stuff like that out there.
Tons, and
you can usually smell them out fairly quickly.
Yeah, oh yeah, you can. Yeah, 100%.
Especially when it comes to this kind of weirder stuff. A lot of people don't want to talk about it because they're embarrassed.
Yeah, and it's like that with this and hauntings. Like, because people, one, there's a threat of talking about it may bring it back, and as well as just the like, a red flag for me, not to get on too far of a tangent, but a red flag for me when it comes to either ghosts or cryptid sightings or anything like that from like a single person is that the person is making money off of it and actively pursuing money-making endeavors to profit off of their sighting. That's a red flag for me.
I believe in at least the possibility of psychic phenomena. And there's a lot of studies that suggest that it could actually be a thing.
Yeah.
But I also, when it comes to like TV mediums, anybody who's making lots of money selling books and TV shows, talking to dead people, I'm like, no.
Yeah, the Long Island Medium show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. Like it's the people who I've met who I'm like, you seem like you might actually have like a genuine gift. They might do like small time money making. Like it's not like they're not going out there trying to get like any big deals.
Yeah.
They might just like do tarot readings or something like that.
Exactly.
But usually it's something they keep on the down low. It's not something they want to talk about very often.
No, it's not something they broadcast outside. Yeah.
So we've got the police.
We got the police
have shown up.
Yes, police have shown up.
And they end up bringing in more deputies, and they go into the broader area around the house on horseback and jeeps. And they found a couple of weird things. There were some unusual but unsubstantiated footprints.
Okay.
They're like, these are weird shapes, but we don't know what they are one way or the other.
Okay, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
Because that's one thing, like, some people are like, oh, that's just a bear footprint. Which sometimes it might be, especially if you're not familiar with what a bear footprint looks like.
Totally.
These ones, they were like, we can't tell what it is. But there's also, so the kind of the area behind the house, it led into a ravine. And it was heavy bush, like lots of like thickets, reeds, bushes, things like that. And there was this solid, like there was this hole in this bush that looked like something big pushed its way through there.
Oh, weird.
And Shannon found some reports said it was on a nail from the chicken coop. Someone also said that it was a thorn in these bushes. But regardless, he found some grayish brown hair.
Ooh, okay.
Sent it to Malone University nearby for analysis. The analysis was inconclusive, and then Shannon makes the classic mistake of not keeping a little bit for himself.
Yep.
And not getting receipts about everyone who touched it.
Classic cryptid hair mistake.
Yeah, that's pro tip. Always keep a little bit of the sample for yourself.
Always.
Whether it's hair or if you find some poop. Keep some of that poop for yourself.
Yeah, if you find a little bit of Bigfoot poop or Minerva monster poop, you got it. Yeah, no, keep a little nugget for yourself.
Yeah, just store it to the side. Don't tell people what it is.
Keep it in your freezer so it doesn't stink.
Yeah.
Put it in like a vacuum sealed bat, but like
maybe take it out every now and then. Give it a little sniff to see if it still smells weird.
Yeah.
If you're feeling up to it, little lick. It's okay. I won't judge you.
Licking. We're not telling kids.
You can disavow this, but I'm sticking by it.
You know what? As long as it's not hurting nobody. If you want to lick Bigfoot Dookie, lick Bigfoot Dookie.
If it awakens something in you,
maybe it awakens.
Don't
something.
be ashamed.
You know what? Maybe if you're as long as it's not hurting anybody, dude, it's cool. As long as you're not hurting nobody, it's cool.
I'm going. There's art. I'm sure if I got into Archive of Our Own right now, there would be something.
Oh, dude, you know there's Bigfoot fan fiction.
Yeah,
you know there's Bigfoot cross fan.
Well, there's Tingle, the Tinglers. Oh no, what's his first name? Chuck.
Chuck Tingler?
Chuck Tingle.
Chuck Tingle.
Do you not know Chuck Tingle?
No.
I'm kind of astounded. You ever seen like the Pounded in My Butt by the Dr. Velociraptor?
No. Chuck Tingle?
I'm genuinely shocked right
No.
now. He publishes so many books. Like, the man's a beast.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Are these dumb romance novels that you see like on Amazon?
Yeah.
Like
there's hundreds of them, and it's usually like sexy dinosaurs.
Oh, okay.
Sexy Bigfoot.
I have seen the
sexy,
covers.
Embodiment of time. Like
I have seen the covers of these from like internet reaction videos or like guess what this title is by just the cover.
They're very funny.
I had no idea what his name was.
Yeah, it's Chuck Tingle. They're called Tinglers.
Tinglers.
He's got a role playing game.
Fuck yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. I would love to play it.
So anyways,
anyhow.
Where was hair.
Yeah, hair. Keeping hair for yourself.
And so this leads into a series of smaller but still kind of frequent encounters where they see the creature nearer to the house. There's one time Howe fires a shot in the air and scares it off. The first night where they had the guns and they were pointing it at the creature. Yeah. No fear. Like, the creature was, like, standing there.
Damn.
Didn't care.
Damn. Balls.
And then it eventually walked away of its own accord. But yeah, once again, that's like I guess maybe, like, you could have somebody who's, like, really cracked out, for lack of a better word, who's like, I don't care that you got a gun. I've got 2 pounds of cocaine flowing through my system. I don't know how much cocaine will kill you.
If I had to guess,
assume that's a lot.
That's a lot. I would also assume that's a lot. I'm not over here being a drug expert.
It might be like, yeah, I'm immortal now. Bullets will bounce off my body.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like, I'm doing something like that. I think this is also pre like bath salts.
Yeah, this is way before zombie bath salts.
So like, that's another one of those things where it's a human would be like, oh, that's a gun.
It's a gun. Yeah.
I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm. But this thing's like, whatever.
Unless the hermit is actually like he went out to the forest to like meditate and become bulletproof.
Oh, dude, he became bulletproof monk.
And he's just got a lot of hair. It's Robin Williams.
He became bulletproof monk.
I solved Minerva Monster. It was Robin Williams becoming bulletproof.
God.
Also, he did a lot of cocaine. So
yeah, he did.
Yeah, so the creature just keeps returning, like all the way through September. There's one day that the grandchildren and a couple friends come like running into the house crying. They saw the creature. This is during like the day.
Okay. Yeah, during the day.
And so a bunch of the adults went out and saw the creature. Dark matted hair, once again.
Okay.
300 pounds, 7 feet tall.
Whew.
So maybe the same creature, maybe a different creature.
Different type.
It can be very difficult to like judge height. Out start once things start getting like significantly taller than you.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to be like, oh, because you know how tall you are.
Yeah,
but you're not. But like, if it's taller than you're like, oh god, it was taller than me. 6 feet, 7 feet.
Yeah,
even especially for kids.
Yeah,
kids don't have any concept of height.
Well, that's why like every now and then I'm like, oh yeah, 12 feet's not that tall. I'm like, no, that's 2 me's.
Yeah,
that's like if I stood on my own head.
Yeah,
that's really tall.
That's very tall.
Also, I would be doing a different line of work.
Yeah,
if I could do that.
Yeah, same.
7 feet tall, and then. Later on, Evelyn Caton says that she saw the creature again sitting in the pit in their backyard, that like, ravine area by the strip line, going through the garbage. So once again, Herbert put out the garbage for the raccoons, which admittedly, I don't think you should leave garbage in your backyard for raccoons, but very wholesome action.
Right. Yeah,
I am pro feed your raccoons.
They're gonna get into it regardless. They're getting smarter anyway. They got hands.
Yeah, they're gonna take over someday.
Yeah, they got hands.
It's like gonna be them or the octopi.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Once again, it was that no visible face because of the way the hair
was face.
Covering it.
Yeah,
and then no visible neck either. It was just Barney rubbling up.
Yeah. Oh wow, that is a weird looking thing.
Throughout these encounters, Shannon said that he received a lot of reports from all over the area of bears and panther-like bobcats.
Oh, interesting.
Which, once again, we got creatures that there aren't a lot of them in this area.
Yeah.
Like there aren't that many bears in Ohio.
No, not.
A panther-like bobcat would be weird because bobcats are gray, speckly, and on the like they're bigger than a house cat, but they're still when it comes to big cats, they're small.
Yeah, compared to a panther.
Yeah,
they're small.
If you tell me panther-like bobcat, I'm like, that's a fucking big bobcat.
That's a huge bitch.
And then and bears, I'm like, that's weird. Like we just within like the last 10ish years got coyotes back in Ohio.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
we a lot of the bigger wildlife is gone. And this is a quote from the Schaffner report. Discovered that a bear explanation was being used by local law enforcement to downplay the incidents. So the cops were going out there Men in Black style, being like bears. it was swamp gas bounced off Venus, hit this bear.
And it's a Minerva monster, but it's just a bear.
Yeah, it's just a bear.
Oh, wow.
They asked Evelyn Caton, do you think you saw a bear? Mm-hmm. And she says, not unless it was mutated.
Ooh.
And that's, again, going back to that hit conversation. Mm-hmm. She would know what a bear looks like. I trust her to know what a bear looks like.
I would also trust her to know what a bear looks like.
And there have been reports of, like, bears coming back into Ohio.
Yeah.
I don't know about 78. But, yeah, we don't have a ton of them.
No, we don't.
And I trust even, like, me. If I was out in the forest, especially during the day, and I saw something, I've lived in the suburbs all my life.
Same.
I know what a bear looks like still, though.
Yeah.
I might have a misconception about how big even, like, a black bear is.
Oh, yeah.
But I would still be like, that's a bear.
Like, I know that's a bear. I've watched Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
That's a bear.
That's my Winnie boy.
Yeah, that's a very angry Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, he's going to eat my face.
He's going to eat my face. It's not eat honey.
Here's some honey. Let me get you your red shirt. You're missing.
That means he's not copyrighted if he doesn't have the red shirt on.
Yeah, and that kind of leads into like the whole like why I am more open to the story because there are consistent sightings, clear descriptions during the day.
Yes,
and they. Ultimately, the Catons just ended up being like, we're not going to talk about this anymore.
Yeah.
We don't want to deal with it. They had, like, once the report kind of got further out there, they had people coming from Cleveland, pickup truck full of beer and dogs and guns, hunting Bigfoot.
Hunting the Minerva monster.
Like, showing up at, like, 2 o'clock in the morning, screaming at the Catons.
My God.
Shannon said that he didn't know how many times he was called over to deal with people coming out into the land. That
sucks.
So like
man.
It's one of those things where it's like they weren't looking for fame. They got so scared they made a call.
Right.
Like,
What else are you going to do?
Yeah, like they're like, there's this big thing near our house. We don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then when Barbara Mudrak shows up, she's very friendly. She just gets the beat because she was a farm reporter.
Yeah.
The Beacon Journal they're like, oh yeah, you grew up on a farm. You'll do all like the farm agricultural animal reporting.
Yeah.
So when they heard, they're like, oh yeah, this family saw a weird animal. You go talk about the animal. For a long time, it was just her. She would go out there and sit on the porch with them late at night.
Yeah.
To see if she could see anything. She didn't see anything. But she came out of it being like, yeah, they saw something that wasn't a bear. That kind of ends up being the end of their reported sightings. And the documentary, How, who is the only member of the family who is interviewed, because the rest of the family is like, we don't want to deal with this anymore.
No, I don't.
He lives in the house.
Okay, he still currently lives in the house.
And he says, like, yeah, we still see it. We still interact with it. We just leave it alone.
Dude.
Like, we just basically, like, I know you're there. You know I'm here. We're cool.
Respecting each other's spaces almost. Yeah. Like, whoa, that's
so, like,
weird.
but he's just like, yeah, we just don't talk about it because we don't want the attention anymore.
That's cool. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would be comfortable. I don't know how comfortable I would be living in that house, even if there is like this weird mutual respect between me living in my own space and then the monster living its own space. I don't know how comfortable I would be.
Especially if it comes and looks in my window.
Yeah, especially if it just comes looks in my window while I'm sleeping.
I'm just like, dude, I'm naked.
Like, ha!
Please.
Yeah.
Walk away.
Oh my god. Part of me, it's a little terrifying. But the other part of me is like, I got a bro foot. I got a friend.
Harry and the Hendersons was one of my favorite movies.
Oh, Harry and the Hendersons was great.
And I always wanted that as a kid. I was like, I want a bro foot. I want this Bigfoot who comes over to my house.
Yes.
Really tall. It's cool.
I always wanted like to be friends with the monster.
Yeah.
Like when you were talking how he looks like Sully, you reminded me of a childhood toy I had that was it was a stuffed Sully, and he was all blue. He could light up. He had a screen canister, and if you pushed it one time, he would say, "I'll protect you," and it was like, "Oh man."
Yeah, I want Monster Friend.
Yeah, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably also wanted a monster friend. Yeah.
So like, good prompt. Let us know which cryptid, ghost, alien being you want to be friends with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter at Haunted Backyard. Use the hashtag MonsterFriend and tell us what monster you want to be friends with, and we'll read some of them on the air.
If I'm going to pick a monster friend,
do we have to stay cryptid, or can it be like a monster like that we know is fictional from like a story?
I'm going to stick cryptid.
Okay.
Or at least I'm going to stick paranormal.
Okay.
I might stick with Bigfoot. There's a part of me that wants to say Indrid Cold.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
But
yeah.
that might also lead into some very weird government stuff that, like, I don't know if I have the emotional capacity to deal with right now. But I heard he's very friendly.
I've heard he's very friendly.
And there was
Cold, yes.
like the main family that had the Indrid Cold sightings and interactions. It was well into the 2000s. They were chilling.
God, I heard about this just recently.
We don't live that far from the town where they started saying Indrid Cold lived.
Oh, man.
It's a couple hours drive from here.
Same with, like, Minerva, though. We could also just go to Minerva.
Oh, no, I totally want to start. I want to do some, like, on-location things eventually.
Because don't they, like... Do you have any other things to talk about specifically with the sightings or with the Minerva?
No, that is essentially the end of the story. We're wrapping up now.
Okay, because, like... Correct me if I'm wrong, because I kind of saw a little bit of it in the documentary. Is the Minerva monster kind of like the little town's, like, their Mothman? Is he kind of, like, at stores? Or, like, is he a mascot, sort of?
It kind of was. Like, during the actual sightings, there was a lot of marketing. Like, a lot of the town started being like, Bigfoot washed his car here.
Yeah.
And they did have at least one Minerva Monster Day.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I think that was in 2016. I don't know if they've done it again.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There was a little bit of a mascot-y thing going on.
That's what it looked like from the documentary.
Yeah, but I think that also might have been like, we're a small town. We want tourists.
Exactly, yeah.
Which, honestly, it just looks like it'd be a chill place to go hang out.
Honestly, yeah, it does.
Like, I would be 100% just visit it just to visit it.
I didn't name my cryptid monster friend. You said Bigfoot, and I'm going through, like, the list of all the ones that I would think I would want to be friends with that I know. And part of me is actually, I'm just going to say the Fresno Walkers.
The Fresno Nightwalkers?
The Fresno Nightwalkers.
The Ghost Pants.
The Ghost Pants. Because they just seem super cute.
They probably have like a good sense of humor.
They do. They like the way they're walking, like, ooh. I almost answered Flatwoods Monster just because I think he looks pretty dope. My partner Elle was like, Squishimals has a thing where you can vote on their new stuff, and one of them was voting on the Flatwoods Monster becoming a Squishimal. I'm like, I want that. I want that so bad.
I'm also torn between Bigfoot and Mothman himself.
Yeah.
I have a special relationship with Mothman.
Yeah, who doesn't love Mothman, though?
So yeah, let us know who your cryptid ghost alien friend would be. Twitter account at Haunted Backyard, and use the hashtag Haunted Backyard Monster Friend.
Yes.
And let us know also if you would like the Bigfoot poop.
Yes. In that same post, let us know if you would hashtag Monster Friend. This is my Monster Friend. Also, I like Bigfoot poop, or I wouldn't.
We won't shame you.
We won't shame. This is a very open space.
So I think that's going to wrap it.
Yeah.
This episode went a little bit long because there was just so many thoughts.
So much to get through. And you know what? There could be a time where we can come back to this one specifically.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely want to come back. Like,
yeah.
I want to do a
we
little
can
more
do
research.
like a part two. We can do a part two to this. Not in succession, but this can be something we come back to.
Thank you all for listening.
Yeah.
Rate, review, share with friends and enemies alike.
Please do.
Send us emails. Once again, if you got a good story, let us know, and we will talk about it on the podcast.
What is that email, Ian?
That is hauntedbackyardcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Just got a message from Lex, who's in the other room, saying cryptids are thoughtage core.
Thoughtage core.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Rate, like Ian just said, rate us, leave comments and reviews. It helps us. Like I said, this isn't our main job, but you could help us make it that.
Meme us into notoriety.
Need us into notoriety.
I'll say notoriety.
If just one of the paranormal podcasts that I listen to on a weekly basis mention this podcast specifically, if just one of them does, I will be the happiest person, and we will both be the happiest person in the world. Even just one of them mentions us.
Yeah, let us know if you got any scary stories.
Yes,
and we'll talk to you next time. Stay spooky, stay nice.
Bye, everybody.